Hello and welcome to another science post. This one is called Chain Fountains. If you are looking for real-life magic, check out a chain fountain. When a lightweight chain or string of beads falls out of a jar, the chain begins to lift up into the air, seemingly defying gravity. How does this sorcery work? Surely the ancients had a satisfying explanation for this phenomenon, and surely modern physicists all agree about how it works. Then again, YouTube education is rather weird these days, so maybe not. When the bead is pulled up from the jar, the bead will rotate and gain a bit of angular momentum. When the bead has to turn around and go back down, it has to rotate in the opposite direction, reversing the direction of the angular momentum. Because the bead cannot continue to rotate, the energy has to go somewhere. It goes into the neighboring links in the chain as a force outward from the rotating bead. This creates tension in the chain, which pushes the neighboring links in the chain out to the side. When the chain can't move further out to the side, it moves upward. In other words, a quarter turn backward rotation energy is stored as the bead is pulled up, and then 3/4 forwards rotation energy is released downwards as the bead is pulled down. A downward release of energy causes motion upwards. When the chain floats up, the velocity of the falling chain will be a bit greater than the standard 9.8 meters per second square acceleration from gravity. Sorry, not the velocity, the acceleration of the falling chain. Now, why am I making a video on this? Surely every physics professor in existence knows this story. But I watched a video from the Royal Society, so some British institution, and they were describing this system by using a student to demonstrate what he'd learned. And these people claimed that the energy that lifts the chain up high into the air comes from a push off of the ground when the link is first lifted out of the jar. Now, and then they offered a rather misleading experiment to support their conclusion. This explanation is flat out wrong and misleading, and the experiment they used to confirm their hypothesis was confounded by friction. I invite you to take a look at this video. I can't believe that this form of education is coming from an official institution, one with a long-standing history. So it is true that there must be a force to produce the torque, which creates the initial bit of angular momentum, which reverses when the link is pulled down. But it is confusing and misleading to suggest that the torque comes from a push off of the ground rather than the upward pull of the chain. A spherical chain link requires no interaction with the ground for the chain fountain effect to occur, and in the video I provided, you see that the effect happens with spherical links as well. I'm telling this story because I'm concerned that when the educational system is contaminated with bad teaching, it really only takes a single generation for knowledge to completely disappear or to consolidate in other countries. I mean, you could infiltrate a country with bad teachers and completely sabotage their ability to teach something like basic physics. And it may take centuries for that knowledge to return. I bet Euclid, Archimedes, and Descartes understood how a chain fountain worked. And YouTube educations could make or break the present generation. And at the moment, I think it would break them, because I have gone through a lot of YouTube videos and debunked them. There are links in the blog post below on matters as simple as how airplane flight works, how soap works, how atoms work, how the sun works, how diamonds form, why the sky is blue, why galaxies are flat, how geothermal energy works, how the climate works, high temperature superconductivity, quantum computing. It goes on and on. And the teaching materials I'm seeing are giving tiny, sometimes they're not completely wrong, but they're giving a tiny fragment of the picture. They've tried to condense the story into a little blurb. But when you condense certain narratives and you lose the subtleties, the lesson is worse than useless. So by trying to meet the quantity over quality metrics of the online algorithms, we are suffering a loss of critical subtleties. So, and a woman who runs a cooking channel, she was finding evidence of horrible teaching in the field of cooking as well on YouTube. She showed that even baking videos are disseminating misinformation. And this is egregious. That goes too far. I don't want my children growing up believing that they can make frosting out of melted ice cream or a parfait out of melted gummy bears. Just think of all of the sticky counters and wasted ice cream and gummy bears. It's criminal. It's just the people who made the videos did it for the aesthetics instead of the educational value. And they knew that aesthetics sell, and they were trying to make money rather than actually teach people. So back to the chain fountain. When I think about the physics of a chain fountain and the physics of a market economy, something that I've linked to an article about, I wonder if they work in a similar fashion. During a market bubble, the market floats up into the air, seeming to defy gravity. But once it turns around and faces the earth, it accelerates towards the ground at a faster rate than gravity would ordinarily allow. This can only happen when the velocity of money is fast enough, as it is in a time of accelerated expansion. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you click on the blog link to check out the list of all of the debunked internet educational materials I've made videos about or written about. And I'm not making money off of this. I'm just doing this because my kids watch TikTok and YouTube and tell me the most bizarre things that they have learned. So, until next time.